everyone. Welcome back. My name is Teresa Morrison, and tonight we are doing another Facebook Live session. I'm here with Bridget, and I'll go ahead and let her introduce herself as well as what she'll be covering tonight for our Facebook Live series. Hi, Bridget.
I am the disaster response attorney for the Legal Aid Society, and tonight we will be going over insurance. This presentation is named Insurance 101 because we will just be going over the basics. We will have a more in-depth presentation on October 19th with the Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance. So I guess we can get started. So first, I just want to remind everyone about who we are. So we are both with the Legal Aid Society. The Legal Aid Society is a 501c3 private nonprofit law firm. We handle civil matters for low-income individuals, families, and seniors who normally could not afford legal services. So this is just some more information about us and our mission. Our server area has over 440,000 individuals, and we have those that live at or beneath the federal poverty line. We have 32 attorneys across 8 offices, and we cover 48 counties. Our offices are located in Columbia, Clarksville, Cookeville, Gallatin, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Oak Ridge, and Tullahoma. The disaster response program is based out of our Nashville office. However, it covers all of the 48 counties the Legal Aid Society covers. This is just some more information on the different practice areas as well as the areas that we serve in the office dedicated to each area. So let's get into the presentation. Just as a general disclaimer, the information provided in this presentation cannot take the place of legal advice. Each case is different and needs individual attention. This presentation is only for educational purposes. This presentation is brought to you by the Legal Aid Society, of course, but we also have some Q&A partners in this. We have Vanderbilt Law School, Housing Clinic, the Community Foundation, as well as the Justice for All, which is a Tennessee Supreme Court initiative. So before we get started, Teresa, I have a question. True or false? Homeowners or renters insurance will cover my home and belongings if they are damaged by flood waters.
That's a good question. I'm going to say false.
That is correct. So most homeowners and renters insurance policies do not cover damages to a structure or content in the event of a flood. Only a flood insurance policy will cover flood damage. And that's really important because 1 inch of flood water can cost about $25,000 according to FEMA. So I know that's a little weird and it's kind of surprising. So I just wanted to quickly go over about how we got here. So it wasn't always like this. In the early 20th century, Americans could buy flood insurance from companies just like you buy your renter's insurance or your home insurance. However, in 1927, there were record floods along the Mississippi River. These floods cost an estimated $400 million of damages, and there was about 750,000 people were impacted across a 23,000 square mile radius. These highlighted that the difficulties of insuring flood risk. It was considered to be unpredictable as far as like costs incurred, and only people that were in high risk for flooding areas were having insurance, so insurance companies weren't making a lot of money. So at that time, most insurance companies stopped selling flood insurance. And for a long time, they were viewed as an uninsurable risk. During this time period, so from the late 1920s up until the 1968, Congress passed numerous flood control acts. These acts were things like levees and dams. This is around the time you get TVA, which was founded in 1933, to kind of try to help flood areas. However, the results were not producing what they intended for, what they hoped for. So, in response, Congress established the NFIP on August 1st, 1968, with the passage of the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968. And of course, it has been modified over the years. So the National Flood Insurance Program provides flood insurance to property owners, renters, and businesses. The goals of the NFIP are to make flood insurance available at affordable prices across the country, to encourage communities to take steps to reduce the risk of floods, and they also develop maps of flood hazard zones. In Tennessee, the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency is the designated state agency for NFIP. So in Tennessee has about 400 communities that participate in this program. It is voluntary. And that includes Waverly. However, some areas in Tennessee do not participate in this program. If that is the case, FEMA assistance will be very limited to you. So in that situation, you will need to contact your insurance agent to ask about private flood insurance. So like I said, the program is voluntary. So Waverly, the city of Waverly, is a participant in the NFIP. However, the rest of Humphreys County as a whole does not participate in this program. And Humphrey County is also sanctioned. So it's really important to know like if your area is in this program because it does impact your FEMA eligibility. So if you are in a sanctioned area, it means that it has been marked as a special flood hazard area. And therefore, these people in these communities cannot receive federal disaster money for anything that would normally have been covered by insurance. However, you still can qualify for things like rental assistance. Again, this does not apply to people that are in the actual Waverly area because it's in NFIP. So how do you know if you're covered? So you can find a copy of your policy. If you do not have one, your agent can provide one. So you want to check with your home insurance. You can also check with your home insurance agent, broker, or the NFIP directly. You can call them at 877-336-2627. So a little tip, if you're reading your home insurance policy, it'll be under something called the Write Your Own program. And if you see that Write Your Own program in your policy, you have flood insurance. So NFIP, I just wanted to go over some basic terms in this presentation to make sure that we all are on the same page. So NFIP offers two types of coverage. You have your building coverage as well as your contents coverage. Building coverage is included when you buy it. Contents coverage must be purchased separately. And as you can see, there's a long list of things that fall under building coverage, such as your refrigerator, your furnaces, window blinds, foundation walls. However, your contents coverage is things like your clothing, your washer and dryer, your microwave oven. So carpets installed over wood floors will be under contents coverage. However, if it's like permanent carpet, it would be under building coverage. So you just want to read your policy careful to see what things are covered and not covered. In your policy, you will also notice ACV versus RCV. So the actual cash value is the cost to repair or replace in an insured possession of the property of the time of loss minus depreciation for wear and tear. So you also might see RCV, which is the replacement cost of to repair or replace an insured item of property that is damaged without a deduction for wear and tear. ACV is usually cheaper, so you usually have a cheaper deductible than if you would have RCV. Personal property is usually classified under ACV. It's important to read your policy to see if you have ACV or RCV, because that will determine how much money you get back or how much money you will get back. So RCV does have some qualifications. For you to be eligible for the replacement cost value, you must meet 3 conditions. You must stay in a single family dwelling. You must it must be your principal residence. So principal residence means that you live there at least 80% of the year. And finally, your building coverage is at least 80% of the full replacement cost of the building. It's also important to note that NFIP is not a guaranteed replacement cost policy, which means that the flood insurance does not pay over the policy limit. So another term that you may see in your policy is the area below lowest elevated floor. So these are things like your basements, crawl spaces, enclosed areas beneath buildings elevated on full story foundation wells, and enclosed areas under other types of elevated buildings. So it's important to really understand this, because some things may not be covered based on where they were in your home before the flood. So for example, if you have a couch, a television, washer, and a dryer in your basement, and the basement was flooded during the flooding, your flood policy does not provide any coverage for the couch or television because it's located in the area below lowest elevated floor. However, those same items would be covered if they were above the lowest elevated floor. So if they were on like the first story or the second story of your home. However, the washer and dryer would be covered despite it being in the area below lowest elevated floor under most policies. So the question, how do you start your claim? So you want to report your loss immediately to your insurance agent or carrier. You must submit a written notice of loss to the NFIP as soon as possible after a loss. If you have an insurance agent, they can file it for you. After that, you must complete and sign and submit a proof of loss form within 60 days. This is form 086-0-9. Here are some general tips. You want to take lots of photos of the damage before removing any damaged or destroyed items from the home or starting any dry out or repairs. If the NFIP tells you that there will be a delay in getting an adjuster out to inspect, dry out your home as best as you can and hire a qualified and reputable local company that specializes in water damage for repairs. You also want to keep receipts of everything that you have to purchase in order to repair your home, or if you have to buy items to replace things that were damaged in the flood. You want to keep those receipts as best as you can for your claim. So you will undergo an inspection just like with home insurance or renters insurance, but these people are specialized in flood damage. So an insurance agent will assess flood damages to your home. They will be doing it remotely due to the ongoing pandemic, more than likely. So to prepare for your inspection, you want to compile invoices from appliance repairs with appliances, and you also want to keep the serial numbers of everything that you had to replace. Again, you want to provide the receipts to verify repairs that were made following any prior flood loss. You want to separate your damaged and your undamaged your property. You want to make a list of all your damaged belongings if you have contents coverage. And again, you want to take pictures or videos of damaged property before removing them from the location. So also, if you have flood insurance, you want to mitigate future losses, and for that, you want to look at the ICC section of your policy, which is the increased cost of compliance. So this applies when flood damage is severe, which more than likely it is, considering the depth of the floods that took place in August. However, so if your community has declared your home substantially damaged or a repetitive loss property, you will be required to bring your home up to current community standards. And you can receive up to $30,000 due to that. So, and again, this is located in coverage D. Your policy should have it, but you want to discuss it with your insurance agency, and that'll help mitigate future losses in the event of another natural disaster. So if your community participates in the NFIP program, you are eligible to buy flood insurance regardless of flood history. So if you do not have it currently, but you would like to get it in the event of another flood, please, and you qualify in the NFIP program, please do get it, because there is a 30-day waiting period before the policy takes effect. And if your community does not participate in the NFIP program, please call your licensed insurance agent to talk about private flood insurance. Remember that anywhere that it rains, it can flood, and it doesn't take much to incur substantial damage from water. So, unfortunately, flood insurance policies do not work retroactively, but again, you should get it just in case. Compared to the cost of flood damage, flood insurance is relatively cheap. According to FEMA, in 2019, the premium payment averaged to be around $674. So here are some helpful resources for those of you who want to learn more about insurance. The Tennessee Department of Commerce and Insurance, and again, they will be doing a presentation on October 19th at 6 p.m. on this channel to go more in depth on insurance. Floodsmart.gov, which is the government's website about flood insurance, flood preparation, and to see if you are in an NFIP community. Uphep.org, which is is not government affiliated, but they specialize in insurance issues, and they have a lot of great resources if you just want to read about insurance, the history of insurance, and things like that. So if you would like to talk specifically about your insurance questions, we do have disaster relief clinic. Our next one is October 12th. It runs from 12 to 5 p.m. And that is the registration link, which we will post in the comments. And we have another one on October 26th from the same time. And we will also post that link on the comment. So thank you so much for joining Teresa and I today for this Insurance 101 presentation. Please join us again next week on Tuesday for consumer issues, and the following week for a more in-depth insurance presentation. My name is Bridget Stewart, and again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bridget.
Thank you.
You all have a wonderful night. Oh, I don't see any questions right now.